Alright guys, this is going to be part 2 of my how to make a pouch, which was originally Stormdrane's design, and I've just used a different jig and a different system to make them what I feel is a tighter weave and just better for me. So basically where we left off was tying the two colors together. I've got a 20 or 25 foot section of yellow now attached to my fid, and we're going to start doing our weave across, back and forth, all the way around. So you can start with over or under, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start with under, and you're going to go 2 and 2. So I'm going to go under 2, over 2, under 2, and so forth. And this is where the curved fid and the flexible bottle really come in handy and show what's up, because the pop can for me was always demolished by the time I really finished doing one. And with this, I can really put a lot of force where I want it. And once the weave gets tighter, I won't be able to do this, but I'm able to get that needle through the whole weave. And this is another point in the first vid that I mentioned. It doesn't really matter if you have an odd or an even number, because at the final line you can go over under 1, or if it is a even number, you can just go over and under 2 the whole way. But having just 1 at the top looks fine to me. You're going to pull all that slack through. And again, cord management is a lot here. You want to try to lay your cord down in a nice clean pile as you're pulling it through and as you're weaving it side to side. And then you'll usually get some twists, and you definitely want to try to pull those out so you see which way they're going, and as you pull the cord at the end, you can really fix those twists nice. And then this part where it's tied is going to end up hiding under 2, and the bottom is perfect when it works out that way, because there's a lot of thickness at the bottom of the pouches to help conceal that. So I'm just going to leave that. Might go 2 more actually. Put it up 1 row right there. But wherever it ends up for you, you can adjust your cord to make sure that it ends up under instead of over. And right now the can is going to push out on it, so it's very obvious where it is, but I assure you when you're done with your pouch, you won't know where it is. So now, when we switch sides, what you're going to do is the opposite of what you just did. So if you came out under the blue like I did here, I'm going to go over to start with. And then you're going to go every other 2, just like we just did. And every line of weaving you do, it's going to tighten up the slack and get everything held together better. So if they loosen up on you as you're trying to weave through, no big deal, just keep going. And I'm going to want this one a lot closer to the row that I just worked on as well. So when I'm done pulling all the slack through, I'll adjust that as well. And I hope I'm not getting off camera too much here. And I've got my thumb placed right here so I'm not pulling all those bottom rows out of whack. And that way I can pull pretty hard and lay all my cord down right where I want it as I'm working. This one happened to have not much twisting going on. Now what I like to do here for the rows is pull it not quite all the way, make sure I'm getting any twists out, and leave just a touch of slack for now so that I can work everything tight up and down. And then I'm going to start at the bottom and push this one. It doesn't really matter if you start at the bottom, but push that one over basically as close as you can to that one. Now the original design called for like a 1/2 inch in between, and I just find that the closer you can get these, the tighter everything is going to be. And of course it takes a little more cordage, but it just works out real nice. Now as far as how much slack to pull out of there, just enough. You don't want to go too far, it'll start deforming, but if it's too loose, it'll be loose and your whole pouch will be sloppy. So now we're going to come through the other side, right next to that, and again just do the opposite. So we came out over, we're going to start under. And just do every other. And again, I'm sure you guys with straight fids can really see where a curved fid gives you a big advantage on a project like this. And when these weaves start to get really tight, you can actually switch around and move further out when you're doing them, because it gets harder as you go. Alright, and basically that's what you're going to do each time. Now you can see how much I had that can, or this bottle, pushed in by the time I was done there. That's why I like these. They really can take the flexing and beating and pop right back out into shape. Now the setup that I'm using, if you end up using a similar setup, is using this for the slack right now. Now when these get really tight and the whole bottle's caving in, that's when I'll take that out, and it'll be loose again for a couple rows, and then it'll tighten right back up again. But as you can see, I'm going to take this every time and push these as close as I can and keep them all as nice and straight as I can. And as you do it as you go along, you end up with a real nice turnout. And then you can see there, I've got some slack. I want that out but not deformed, right about there. Alright, and then just do it all over again. So I came out under, I'm going to go over. And this time it's starting to get tight over there. I'm going to go a little bit further away. And just start in with your weaving. And guys, really enjoying this paracord that the Paracord store was nice enough to send out for me. And cheap paracord with a project like this, I don't know if you could even do it with that cheap stuff or not. It really twists a lot worse when you're tying it, and it lays really flat and ugly. And if you don't have good quality cordage, guys, get over there and hit them up. Pulling all that slack out. And if you guys have done this before, you can see there, this stuff is just really nice because it does not twist too badly, and I'm not getting all kinds of knots every time. Now again, that's partly because I lay it down right, but with cheap paracord, you just get twists non-stop. Just keep all these lines nice and even. Look at each line every time. Push it over as closely as you can, basically. And you can start to see what kind of pattern we're going to have. And I'm going to pull that slack just enough up at the top. Not too much. Alright. Now, same thing over here. You're going to do the opposite. So basically we've been through 4 lines. And you're just going to keep doing that, guys, until this thing starts caving in on you, and pull that out. And when I get to that point, I'm going to come back for video 3, which should be the final in the video, unless there could possibly be a part 4. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope everybody's figuring this out. If you have any questions at all, definitely get at me. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned.